Hi everyone, welcome back to This is Science. I'm Dr. Matt Fedoruk, Chief Science Officer at USADA. Today we're here to talk about the difference between junk science and real science. You hear junk science on the internet, on social media, at the dining room table, at your parents' house, talking with your friends. We want to set the record straight, and today we're here to talk specifically about vaccines. All right, we're here to talk about vaccine myths. And today we're going to talk about 4 common vaccine myths that you may have heard. Myth number 1 is the development of vaccines was rushed. It's true that these vaccines came to market in record time, but before they came to market, they went through very detailed safety and efficacy trials in thousands of humans to test both their safety and, if they worked, their efficacy. They were tested across ethnicities, age groups, as well as across different geographical locations around the countries, looking for the side effects as well as how well they worked to prevent infections of the COVID virus. Okay, myth number 2 is that the Pfizer and Moderna mRNA vaccines change your DNA. I'm going to show you why that's not true. Okay, so this is a piece of mRNA. It's packaged inside a fat molecule or a lipid. This is how it gets into our cells. This technology has actually been around for decades, and it's been developed for other flu vaccines as well, like influenza and Zika, although COVID is the first time it's been put into production. Here, once you have the medicine made, it gets injected into our bodies. It goes to our cells, and that mRNA is the instruction book that instructs our cells to make a small piece of the spike protein that is actually the same spike protein that's on the outside of the virus. Once that protein is made, that gives our bodies the signal to make antibodies. Those antibodies are part of our immune system. Once those antibodies are made, if we're infected with the virus, that antibody recognizes that piece of protein, that spike protein on the outside of the cell, and allows our bodies to more effectively recognize and fight that virus more quickly than without the antibodies. The DNA down here in the nucleus, you can see the mRNA never interacts with the DNA. So in that way, DNA cannot be changed by the vaccine. Okay, myth number 3 is that the vaccines don't protect against variants. This has actually been looked at by scientists, the various variants that are out circulating around the world. It seems like the current vaccines are effective still against these variants. But the concern that scientists have is that the longer these variants and the virus circulate around the globe, the current vaccines may not be effective. Therefore, we may in the future need things like booster shots in order to continue to protect against future variants that may appear. And finally, myth number 4 is that if you've had COVID, you don't need to be vaccinated. We know that people that have been infected with COVID can get reinfected after a period of time. But with the vaccine, the efficacy rate against preventing infection is upwards of 95 or 96%. Now you have the facts around some of the top COVID-19 vaccine myths. Go to reliable resources such as the CDC for the latest information on vaccines and how to protect yourself, your friends, and your family. We know there's a lot of opinions out there, but this is the real science.